What is going on, COPA family? We are back with another episode of the COPA90 Power Rankings. Since we're in the middle of yet another international break, I will be giving you guys my top 10 national teams who have either clinched their World Cup place or will be fighting to make it this week. With plenty of exciting playoff matches to come, it is absolute crunch time for these national teams. Now remember, these power rankings are based on current national team form, but be sure to let us know in the comments who you think that we missed. So, let's dive right in. At 10, it's Sweden, and here's why. And look, I know they lost their final match of qualifying to Holland, but that was expected. They only needed to keep the score under, say, 7 or so goals in order to ensure qualifying for the playoff, and they did just that. Their match against lowly Luxembourg just a few days before that was what really sealed the deal, though. I get it, Luxembourg is terrible, well, all respect to them, they're not that good. But it's hard to put up 8 goals against anyone at the international level, and while running up the score at the youth level is frowned upon for sportsmanship reasons, at the highest level, it could be what keeps your team alive, and for Sweden, that's exactly what happened. To be honest though, anytime France and Holland are in your group, you are in what should be considered the group of death, and now Sweden get 180 minutes against Italy to prove why they belong in Russia next summer. And if they are to survive this playoff round, they'll rely heavily on Marcus Berg, who led the qualifying group with 8 goals. For number 9, it's Iran. These dudes are on absolute fire right now, and if you didn't know, cruised all the way to the point of qualifying without giving up a single goal. They ended up giving up 2 goals to Syria in a draw after they had already qualified, but that means nothing. It's one thing to go undefeated, first of all. It's another thing to go undefeated without giving up any goals. And I don't care what region you're in or where you're qualifying or who your opponents are, this is the sign of a well-oiled team and one that could be sneaky good in the World Cup. I had a chance to play against De Jaga in the Bundesliga back in the day, and he's a beast and apparently captain of the national team right now. Also, keep your eye out for Sardar Azmoun and Mehdi Taremi, who seem to be scoring goals for fun these days. At number 8, we're going with Peru. If you were a betting man heading into the South American World Cup qualifying, you probably wouldn't bet your house on Peru getting to the World Cup. Now, they are a playoff versus New Zealand away from going to the tournament after sneaking into a playoff position by kicking out Chile, Paraguay, and Ecuador. There is one catch though. Peru's top scorer, Paulo Guerrero, who's pretty much a legend, is on 6 goals and has been suspended for failing a doping test, and if that suspension is upheld, will likely miss both playoff matches. This will then put all of the pressure on Danish Super League midfielder Edison Flores, who's been phenomenal in qualifying and is currently on 5 goals. Either way though, I don't see Peru not reaching this tournament. Coming in at number 7, we are going with Panama. They deserve all the love they're getting right now. Their first ever World Cup qualification thanks to the generous gift of failing by the US men's national team. Somehow, someway, they played 10 group games, winning only 3 and qualified directly for the tournament. Their first one ever, which is why they made this list. The other reason they made this list is after getting pounded by the US to the tune of 5-0, Panama rolled up their sleeves and got a 2-1 win over already qualified Costa Rica, thanks to a shock 88th minute winner from MLSer Roman Torres, which is really impressive. At 6, it's Messi. I mean, Argentina. Well, I do mean Messi, so yes, at 6 it's Messi. But if anyone deserved to go to another World Cup and try for another World Cup trophy, it was Messi. And Argentina owed it to him, though he kind of carries the burden on his own these days, it seems. I'm kidding, though. Argentina did struggle through much of the qualifying campaign, but somehow pulled through in the nick of time by dismantling a hopeless Ecuador squad, where we saw Barcelona Messi show up for his national team by the tune of 2 goals under immense pressure. If they lost, they were out. They drew, they were out. This will likely be Argentina's last chance at international glory for the next several years and could have major implications on Messi's legacy. If he does win a World Cup, does that make him the best player ever? Does it make him better than Maradona? And if he doesn't win, could he still be considered the best player ever? I don't have the answer for that, but I want to know from you guys. Get down in the comments and let me know. At number 5, because without them, international football just isn't that cool. It's Republic of Ireland. If this was about the fans, they'd probably be at number 1, but they're at number 5 because they went to Wales on the final group match day and pulled off a shock 1-0 win over a Gareth Bale-less Wales, thus jumping Wales for a playoff spot where they'll now play against Denmark. I can't tell you who the favorite is in this matchup, but I do know that our boy Pat Inferna is going to be on the ground in Ireland for the second leg doing it on tour, so stay tuned for that. Honestly though, guys, I'm kind of torn. I kind of want Denmark to win because I have a few friends that play for the team, but I plan to be in Russia in 2018 and I can't think of anything better than partying with the Irish. So let me know who you guys want to win the different playoff matchups going on over the next week. Coming in at number 4, it's the little nation that could, Iceland. Remember back at Euro 2016 when they captured our hearts and our minds and our souls and our bodies for an entire month, and we thought that it might be the last time we get to experience something like this spectacular from this team and this country? Surprise, Iceland are going to the World Cup. Okay, that's not a surprise, it's been all the rage, but I can't wait. When Iceland found out who their qualifying group was, I'm sure most of us probably wrote them off, but they escaped taking points from a number of European giants, including Croatia, Turkey, and Ukraine. As expected, Gylfi Sigurdsson carried the burden of the small nation by tallying 4 times during the qualifying campaign. And if you're a US fan that's looking for someone new to support for the World Cup, Iceland's a good place to start. For number 3, and who I quite honestly wish were number 1, it's Egypt. If you've never watched a football match in Egyptian Arabic, then you haven't lived yet. It's by far one of the best experiences you'll ever have. But this hit isn't about commentary, it's about accomplishing the spectacular, and Egypt have done just that. They've been so close to qualifying for the World Cup for so long and have ultimately fallen short, but in 2018, we will finally see them in Russia on the world stage. Largely in part, by the way, to the Liverpool superstar Mohammed Salah. He's currently the top goal scorer in all of African qualifying and scored a last-minute penalty, which if I would have taken, I would have surely missed, to send his team to the World Cup. It's incredible. And I'm not doing this any justice. Go find the commentary of the moment that they qualified, the moment that he hit the penalty, and all the parties in the streets that ensued. It was crazy. Man, I love this game. Coming in at number 2, it's Brazil. CONMEBOL, in my opinion, is the most difficult region in the world when it comes to qualifying for the World Cup. There's not multiple rounds of qualifying to break up the madness. It's one group, 10 teams, and 18 games taking place over nearly 2 years. Now that I've clarified that, Brazil absolutely crushed their campaign with 12 wins, 5 draws, and 1 loss, finishing 10 points above the second place team. Outside of their money-grabbing Super Classico against Argentina that they played in Melbourne, Australia, which was a totally useless game, where they lost, they've been solid, and many are considering Brazil to be the favorites heading into Russia 2018, especially after they smashed Confed Cup finalists and back-to-back Copa America champions Chile, which consequently ended their own World Cup chances. The team was led, by the way, by Neymar, Paulinho, and yes, you heard that right, Paulinho, Coutinho, and Gabriel Jesus. At number 1, and quite undisputedly, unless you're asking Brazilians, it's Germany. Since their unfortunate defeat at the hands of France in the European Championship semis, Germany has been undefeated. Yes, I said that right, undefeated. They were undefeated in their run-up to the Confederations Cup trophy and undefeated over 10 games in their final round of qualifying, and they accomplished all of that with a mix of A, B, and C squad players, which just shows you how deep they are as a team. They easily finished atop their average at best qualifying group with Müller and Sandro Wagner leading the group in the goal department. Say what you want about their opponents, but 17 games unbeaten since last summer is incredible. The fun part starts now, where we get to watch the Bundesliga for the rest of the campaign to see who of the 70 top-class players will make the final 23-man roster for the tournament. So guys, that is it for this episode of the COPA90 Power Rankings. So many national teams have been in great form ahead of Russia 2018. Who do you think should have been in our top 10? Belgium, Colombia, France, Uruguay? Unfortunately, we had to keep the US men's national team out of this one, but we're looking forward to seeing some new talent on the field this week against Portugal. Let's keep this conversation going on Walk Talk Football. Use the hashtag WTF to let us know who we missed and ask your questions about anything and everything in the football world. Comment, like, and subscribe, guys, and we'll see you next time.